Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week number 1, day number 2 of this weekend. It's the European Qualifiers. My name is hi-rez. Joining me today on the desk, the one and only Scott Gandhi. And, we're just moments away from upcoming Stars going against EloFishers in the round of 16. For those of you that aren't familiar with the format, the way this tournament worked is that there was 8 teams soft-seeded into a 16-man bracket. There was an open bracket that was played to find the other 8 teams to face off against them. And through that process, the upcoming Stars have come up and now have the opportunity against the number 6 soft-seeded EloFishers, Scott.
Yep.
We'll be in the picks and bans here in a minute, but just overall looking at the squads here, you got to get that to EloFishers with
Naturally.
that 6 soft seed.
Yeah, we all kind of took a look at it and we were like, EloFishers, this team's really good. Everyone's very, very excited to see this team compete. And as everyone knows, in Europe, there's all this hidden talent that we just don't know what's going to happen with it. And it seems like EloFishers kind of fit into that margin with us. We put them at the 6th seed, soft-seeded, so we're expecting them to come out on top. But upcoming Stars could be anyone's game.
Yeah, the EloFishers team with Getfisher, Dirigis, Vasherkal, and Darzer, all names that have been known in the European scene for a little while here. So it's been a pretty interesting process watching this team come back into the fold. They've always been the EloFishers is a really old name as well. In Smite European competitive. So good to see these guys back. Upcoming Stars, this roster is Renz, Chero, Fails, Frosty, and Sausage. The only name that I recommended there is Sausage, which we'll probably call Sausage a few times today.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing that is kind of like important to note, though, which I was kind of expecting to happen yesterday when we had High Five taking on Complexity in the round of 16.
Sure.
Upcoming Stars has been playing all day today. They've got the warm-up matches in.
Right.
They've gotten the competitive feel, and now you're seeing EloFishers kind of come in. They're going to be kind of cold, very, very cold, and this is really, really important for them. I mean, they have a lot of weight on their shoulders just because we soft-seeded them. They have to live up to that. So upset could happen. Definitely not ruling out upcoming Stars at all here.
Yeah, I would say that anybody in the kind of the bottom 4 position in the soft seeds, are eligible to be upset. You would expect out of the top 4 positions, probably not. But I think that EloFishers probably wouldn't trade their path with upcoming Stars, even though they're coming into this game warmed up. I doubt that you would want to play through that open bracket.
No one wants to play through the open bracket. Open bracket is like a rite of passage. Like everyone has to go through it at least once, and it's always the worst feeling ever. But just by the way, just looking ahead in the bracket, which I know we're going to start with the round of 16.
How dare you look ahead?
These matchups that we can potentially have are just insane.
Yeah,
like we're looking at. For the battle of top 4 to get into the top 4, we might have like London Conspiracy versus Spicy Waffles, which is Half Devil's team, which is just like what?
Yeah, it's looking like we're gonna have a really nice tournament here in Europe.
Sure.
Europe seems to be a little bit deeper than North America in the number of teams. We saw yesterday a good showing from North America. Lot of strong talent there. 5 Angry Men looking pretty damn good.
What did you think about Bastet? She we saw it in like season 1, right? And Bastet was like she was okay. She was played by Dignitas at the time, which is now Eager, by Lassus versus like Thirst and Chunks, but he never really brought it out versus like the Cogs or the Complexity. But it's safe to say Bastet's like kind of here. In its own like weird way. I mean, we're seeing a bunch of Bastet.
The thing is that Shing always plays Bastet.
Yeah.
Like all the time, since forever. He's always wanted to play Bastet and really wants Bastet to be a thing. And occasionally she is, occasionally she isn't, but he still plays her. It's too early for me to call that she's like actually going to be strong given where we are right now. I think that you saw yesterday how much Bastet struggled with just Osiris.
For sure.
Right, like had a really hard time ganking that lane. She couldn't use cats because of his ultimate could just leap away and he would survive it. Plus he can out-trade the cats with Death's Toll. So I don't know if we're going to see her really be a mainstay in lieu of some of the more burst-oriented junglers, which generally speaking tend to pan out through the duration of the season as being more and more valuable, especially if Agni becomes like the mainstay mid laner, which he often does when the meta changes. Everything goes back to Agni.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, Agni, I'm in trouble, dash, right? Like, you just get away, and then, like, as soon as your dash is down, you can just imagine the other team's comms are just like, okay, Agni dash down, everyone kind of comes in and tries to gank Agni right away.
Right.
Because he's just so safe. But, I mean, he's obviously probably the number 2 mid laner right now, I would say.
Yeah, it seems
the only other person you would kind of throw in there is like Giannis, but Giannis still kind of feels like more of a solo lane than he does a mid laner just because of the lack of the damage on the ult.
We'll see exactly what these teams are going to go for, guys. Let's move into the picks and bans here, where, we'll see exactly how this one shakes out. It's going to be on the left side, the one and only upcoming Stars, and on the right side, the EloFishers, and, we are underway.
Look at that picks and bans.
So pretty. Those Phoenixes.
Gotta love the Phoenix.
Upcoming Stars does have the first ban, and with it, they're going to select Thor.
No real shocker here. Thor has been such a threat in every single stage of this game, and he's still very, very strong. It's just his early game presence is almost unparalleled.
Yeah, Thor brings not only that half global presence, but also a big amount of burst damage the first probably 15 minutes of the game. Tough god to play against, definitely. On the other hand, we got Shibalanke now banned out by the EloFishers, not wanting to go up against that late game first pick potential god. Osiris going to be banned out by the upcoming Stars as well, so getting rid of that very, very strong solo lane presence, and finally Giannis removed by the EloFishers here. So they seem to be a little bit more concerned about the late game. With these bans, I would expect them to draft for more of a mid-game team.
Yeah. It makes sense to lock in Athena right away. Right now, it seems that Athena is in her own world in the sense of no one can really contest against her in that lane. And with her global presence as the meta shifts, you want more pressure. So Athena's obviously going to be a hot target.
Yeah, the AoE taunt.
AoE taunt that just comes up and it burns beads.
Desirable.
Yeah, I mean, it burns beads, so it's like, oh, okay, everyone else, do your things.
Yeah.
go
instant
have fun.
cast AoE CC cone. Athena quite strong, but Cupid Poseidon going to be elected here, or selected rather, by EloFishers. Obviously, quite a bit of AoE synergy between these two. A little bit surprising to me to see Cupid picked up in the first picking phase. Usually, he will make it through to that third pick spot.
For sure.
But they're going to go ahead and take him along with Poseidon. I guess the danger here being that if you get Athena, Cupid, Poseidon, your AoE composition potential is really high. So they're going to force out a secondary ADC, if you will, now that Shibalanke and Cupid are gone. Those kind of considered the top marks right now. Maybe an On-Her or a Artemis, as we saw yesterday, similar to that super late Gary position. But no, it's going to be Arachne and Hell selected by the upcoming Stars here. So a very greedy lineup for them.
Yeah, Arachne's known for kind of single target, get on someone, do the damage, hit the slows. Very hard to peel against her, but she hasn't really made too much of a stay in the competitive scene just because it seems like teams can kind of formulate a plan and kind of like just shut her off of them. They're like, okay, she's on the carry. Okay, we got her. She's dead. She's gone, even with the lifesteal, but she's very, very strong early game. Hell, on the other hand, Lotus Crown on Hell probably is the most annoying thing to deal with in the solo lane, but fortunately, Hell doesn't have an escape. So she's easy to get.
And she'll be fighting into what looks like a Bastet here coming out of the jungle for the EloFishers. Once again, we see Bastet rearing her colored contacts and hopping into the battlefield here.
Her eyes are creepy.
Yeah, obviously she has a pretty decent matchup against Hell. Hell's going to be forced into a sprint, too, to deal with the pressure from Bastet, but that's not so bad as it does transition fairly well for her into a Heavenly Agility that does help out her healing. Our final bands coming through are Odin and Artemis, so taking note of that late carry potential for upcoming Stars. They were moving Odin. I think it's just banning away from the potential Wombo combo of EloFishers.
Yeah, the big setup of the Kraken into Fields of Love, and Chalk is going to get picked up. Chalk is in an interesting place here, right? So you got the Bluestone Pendant, which everyone's pretty much picking up, but Chalk seems to be like really good at shredding through like 50% of your health, and then like he just kind of runs around. Like he like comes in, he silences, he does the things, and then he just sits there and auto attacks. I think there's a build that makes him viable. I'm just not sure what it is yet.
Chin size?
I guess. It's just really expensive.
When in doubt, chin size usually. But his ability to toss axes and, as you mentioned, kind of whittle down health has been very successful for him. Isis and Rom going to be selected as the final two for the upcoming Stars, going back to that Rom pick, a little bit more popular in the last season, but still showing his head.
Yeah. Rom, I think a lot of people were worried about the fact that Rom doesn't have the blue buff, and they go, he doesn't have his clear, so we're not going to pick Rom. We're going to go with other players who are just really, really strong late game. But now Rom is like, we get the purple buff. I don't have to worry so much about the clear, and I'm still going to do a bunch of damage. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are seeing it. I mean, I watched Zapman last night play Rom against Arachne, which was weakened as well as Cyclone Spin, and he just shredded through him. Like, it wasn't even contested. And he goes, oh, yeah, he's really, really strong.
Yeah, Rom's still definitely solid as a stand-your-ground, toe-to-toe fighter. Yeah. It still brings a tremendous steroid as well to the table. But the final pick coming in now from EloFishers, it's going to be Sylvanas.
Nice.
It synergizes pretty well. Triple healing core here. Sylvanas, Chalk, Cupid. They have Bastet, Poseidon as well to their credit here now. It's looking like the draft, in my opinion, is going towards EloFishers here. I think upcoming Stars are going to have a pretty hard time team fighting this one with their composition. They're kind of one-trick ponies. Once the Isis ultimate is used and Hell has dumped her Dark Stance spells, what do they have to take an extended fight versus, Chalk, Bastet, Poseidon, all three of them are okay with that extended fight. Poseidon can run them down with the Trident. Bastet, obviously, low cooldown, high harass abilities, and Chalk. Well, Chalk is basically never out of mana or spells, so it's going to be an uphill battle, I think, for the upcoming Stars.
Very, 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 very true. I mean, Sylvanas alone is going to bring so much to this team that it's like, how do you deal with just Sylvanas? I mean, Sylvanas is going to have the Lotus Crown. He's going to have the pulls, and so many people are worried about the fact that, oh, his wisps no longer affect the clear. Well, his auto attacks still do AoE damage, and he still has some of the best clear in the game, early game-wise, especially with the synergy that he's going to have in the duo lane with Cupid. This lane's going to be shoved all the way up right away.
One thing that surprises me here, worth mentioning, no Ao Kuang selected. Picked or banned.
Yeah.
Even though, even with the nerf that he sustained, is definitely capable of still doing exactly what he wants to do.
It's better than Arachne.
Oh, it's definitely better than Arachne.
Ao Kuang is like Arachne on steroids.
It's better than Arachne insofar as that individually, when you look at them, Ao Kuang is definitely the god you would select, but with a magical solo laner, it's a little tough to swing the Ao Kuang hell as your duo jungle combo. So no surprise there that they don't select it given that, but surprised to not see him at all.
Yeah, the best thing Ao Kuang does is shred through tanks. You have a Chalk in lane going up against an Ao Kuang, or you have an Ao Kuang coming to gank into the duo lane against the Sylvanas. That Sylvanas is going to be dead, and the Chalk's going to be dead just because of the execute. But we might see a little bit of some tomfoolery here coming out of upcoming Stars. They might get ready to go ahead and go for the invade. This is a very, very smart play.
Worth mentioning that we've seen the Guardian kind of quote-unquote early game meta has shifted and started to solidify a little bit as this Mark the Vanguard start. But let's take a look here as the invade comes out. And this is trouble for EloFishers. Upcoming Stars have a great angle on this one. Get Fisher, he's going to be the first to fall with the Arachne coming through. And now it's going to be running away for the Chalk as he's been zoned out.
I love
Successful invade. This looks like a siege game.
I love this. This is fantastic. Did you notice what they did right there? They know, that EloFishers in every team is going to ward by the Fire Giant. So what they did was they used the third-person POV to scout mid lane to see if anyone was there, and then they pushed through mid lane. That is a fantastic invade.
Yeah, really, really well executed. Successful invade coming out obviously puts off the upcoming Stars into a really nice start, about a 500 gold lead with that first blood and the camp invade there. So congratulations to them. The upcoming Stars really showing that they may indeed be upcoming Stars. The EloFishers certainly should not have died to that. The more tenured team, obviously, any given Sunday kind of feel like here, as the upcoming Stars are showing that maybe they were deserving to be a top 8 seed.
Yeah. It's very interesting that Bastet came and rotated into the mid lane already, and that's really just so Poseidon can deal with the push of Isis. They both have really good clear, but Isis with her auto attack chain mixed with Wind Gust, it's like guaranteed level 2. She's clearing everything.
That's right. Yeah, it's the Wind Gust doing a lot of the work there. The AoE attack chain.
It helps.
It's kind of like icing on the cake.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh well, I'm not going to be mad about this.
Yeah, not only do they have this like superior wave clear ability in my one, I also have a little bit of extra wave clear in my AoE in hand. So likely over at the left side lane in the duo right now, it's going to be Rom and Athena going up against Duragis' Sylvanas with Fast Recall's Cupid. It's very hard for me not to give the favor here to Sylvanas Cupid lane. Mana sustain for both of them in their kits. A lot of repositioning, obviously, out of Sylvanas, a lot of lockdown, and Cupid brings the burst damage to synergize with that really well. On the other side, it's going to be a little bit more of a difficult battle, I think, for the Athena Rom. Athena's going to be forced to use her mana to clear more often than not to help the Rom out. But that, of course, will start at least clearing up around the level 7 or 8, where Rom has a bit of a better time doing that himself.
Yeah, Athena's basically just going to hang around until level 5, and then she's going to say, okay, bye-bye, Rom. You have fun. You have your role. You're very, very safe. You're going to have the damage to kind of clear out, stay in her tower. And she's going to use the fact that she has a global presence to her advantage, whereas Sylvanas is going to kind of like lackadaisically rotate around the mid-harpies, and that's about as far as he can go. So pressure-wise, Athena definitely has the advantage, but looks like Athena's going to go ahead and go in here as Arachne's going to be on the side as well. No follow-up, though.
Yeah, the experience advantage should be a little bit bigger, honestly, given that first blood. Sitting at only about 600 XP ahead, about 800, 900 gold ahead are the upcoming Stars, but I would expect the experience to be a little bit bigger considering that first blood, but they just didn't have as effective of a laning stage. The first mid camps do come up, ladies and gentlemen. 3 minutes in, pulled in is Arachne. That Ice Sylph are going to use immediately as Sylvanas pulls ahead now. But the fight continues on. Kraken hits 2. Beautifully played. Bastet comes in as well. The dot's out onto 2. It's going to pick up at least 1. Ice is in a bit of trouble. Sylvanas with that ultimate just to try to bail himself out as the Arachne was getting a little bit too close for comfort there. It's a 1-kill pickup by EloFishers to get them back into parity in this game. In the meantime, right side mid camp will go as well. Rom dead.
Ooh.
in the duo lane as Vastercall finds that heart bomb, and well, it's a pretty good example of why Cupid is favored early in this meta. He's mana positive with his hearts and a very bursty style, can clear waves or do a bit more damage than you expected in a short period.
Yeah, that was a great fight there for EloFishers. I mean, they had the rotation there, and Athena hit the right taunts, and the Kraken did just more damage. I mean, that AoE presence, that's what Poseidon excels at, right? Though is like, okay, 5 to 10 minutes, or like level 5 to level 10, Poseidon, no one's gonna have Aegis.
Right.
No one's gonna have Aegis.
Right, that first rotation.
Yeah,
is really important for Poseidon.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I mean, before they pick up those actives, well, it's two things, right? Before they pick up the actives and to make them realize they need to get the actives, right?
Yeah.
You can force people to spend 600 gold to just deal with you. So I think that's...
And it delays the build.
That's right.
And almost every mid laner now is all about the Warlock Sash, because it's how do you justify not getting that item in the mid lane?
Right, and dropping 600 gold during your Warlock Sash Rush on an Aegis or Beads, or both, really slows that down and could get you ahead by, get you ahead to that Warlock Sash 20-30 stacks if you are indeed able to force it out. So well played there to the Poseidon, played by Darzer here for EloFishers.
Well, Hell's gonna have that solo lane's gonna be such a boring matchup. You can see they're just counter building each other. She's gonna get ready to build that into a breastplate, and Chalk's just gonna sit there with his. He's just gonna crush. I mean, what can he really do? There's no kill potential in that solo lane at all.
Well, here comes the kill potential in the solo lane. It's going to take a two-man rotation, but it does successfully net them a kill onto that Cupid. Now checking on the mid lane, where's Poseidon? Isis Poseidon.
Trident.
He eats a lot of damage out of the Wing Gust, though. Even with the Trident positioning there, he still doesn't have a very good time going toe-to-toe with that Isis. The Rom ultimate was expended to pick up Cupid, as was that Arachne rotation, but it does leave that lane open a bit for Dirge just to try to hit his level 6 on Sylvanas, perhaps. Overall, this game, it's been very back and forth. That early invade has pretty much the pressure they got out of that has kind of been resolved now. They do have about a 1,100 goal lead, though, in upcoming Stars, and that's good news for them as they've continued to build upon that early lead. They haven't really done so great in the laning phase in terms of experience, but gold still continuing to trend upward for them.
So no real shocker here that we're going to see both supports start off with the Mark of the Vanguard. It seems like kind of Watcher's Gift is almost kind of phased out. It's really hard to justify not having those protections in the duo lane. I don't know how you get Watcher's Gift.
Well, you get Watcher's Gift. I think there's still a pretty good case for Geb.
Okay.
Just because of how mobile he is, right?
Geb.
Extended tagging or that tagging and leashing kind of stuff. He could do a little bit better with that with the Watcher's Gift, but Mark of the Vanguard, this item was just considered like almost unpurchasable unless you were High Rock last season, and now we see a lot of it. So, bully to them. A bully to the Mark of the Vanguard, actually. I think this is a great item. I think it was serially misused last season. And what it does, probably more than anything, is provide you excellent protection against minions, especially when you're playing things like the Athena that need to be in the thick of it.
Yeah. Great
I think
early
he
game
snagged
potential. Did she steal that?
I think she stole one.
Yeah, she stole one for sure. But EloFishers did a great job. I mean, they forced out the Athena, and now Athena is just getting ready to rotate back in. They have to fight for this as well, but this is they have to contest this wave as well. They can't miss this, and surprisingly enough, EloFishers go, we'll just go ahead and get red, maybe go Gold Fury.
Oh, that's what it is.
The play.
So, but they went a little early. You can see what the play is here. Like, let's let them get the right side mid camp. We'll take
This
Gold Fury.
big.
But they're a bit early here. We'll see where it goes. Upcoming Stars are going to steal that one away. And that is the danger of going for that one so early.
Nice.
Rom doing wreckage through the team fight with those piercing arrows. Using his ultimate to the right side here to try to find Cupid. This is their high priority target. Athena ultimate coming out as well. They may dive the tower onto Vastercall. No, they will not. Turning back are the upcoming Stars, but they get everything they want, and that right side mid camp still up.
Right, yeah, but it's like, well, do we really want to waste our time with the right side mid camp, or can we just go ahead and get this? They're looking for the kill here. Arachne's hungry, but that was fantastic. I mean, you could see the idea behind EloFishers. What they didn't have was the Sentry Ward down to negate the vision.
It wasn't even the vision problem. It was straight up just an execution mistiming. They didn't wait to make sure that upcoming Stars were going to go to that right side camp. They just immediately all turned about face in the mid lane and went to the left side. It was just an obvious rotation. They could have waited 90 seconds. I'm sorry, 9 seconds?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
all they needed to do
gone.
was pretty much ensure that they were on the
They needed like 1 or 2 more seconds just to make sure that rotation was coming out. Instead, it was like, wait, why aren't they contesting this? Oh, because they're all going to the Gold Fury.
You can see the thought process, though. I like the idea.
Oh, it's a phenomenal call. Yeah. The execution was just wrong.
Yeah. Bastet now forced to kind of come in here and kind of tag up. And is that's an Ichavolt on Arachne. So this item, very,
Wow.
very cost-effective. I wasn't expecting it on
Fantastic
Arachne.
cost-effective item.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it, though, on Arachne right
That's
away.
what's bizarre
I mean,
about
you get the penetration. You get, like, 30 attack speed with it,
Yep.
which is obviously going to help out her kit, but normally it's like Arachne doesn't go equable.
So it reduces the enemy's damage by 10 per hit, right? Up to 30 damage removed, but it's damage from items. And that's why I think this is a curious pickup on the Arachne so early. One, she's not the kind of god that wants to sit toe-to-toe with you and fight, which is where Iqbal really shines as you drain away their power.
Yeah, it's a straight-up boxing item.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also just such an early rush out of her. Like, who has 30 physical power from items right now? Right? Basically, the Cupid.
Yeah. But if...
And the Basset, now that she's finished off her boots, has plus 40. But it just doesn't seem like it's really going to do that much for the Arachne, because even with it, is she really going to just fight the Bastet? No.
Sylvanas now looking to get out. He's got the Fields of Love, Arachne up in the sky. Athena just waiting for it. Poseidon rotates as well, and Rom, he just comes in, kind of pokes him. There's no real fight there at all.
Yeah, interesting story here. Actually, Poseidon being played by Darzer here, actually Ataraxia's older brother.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's, that's the older brother. Yeah, that's the one.
Everyone's older brother here in Europe.
In Europe.
It's a beautiful scene. Oh, we have a Kraken coming out in the mid lane here. In a bit of trouble now. It is going to be that Arachne, but with that ultimate coming in from Athena, that damage reduction just putting in work. Now taunt back on Sylvanas.
Rip.
Shield wall, second hit. Oh, Mythic
You gotta dunk that.
and the Spear Ball. Come on, Isis.
You gotta dunk that.
You gotta dunk that.
This is webs.
But it's movement speed. It's
yeah,
movement
look at this is
Whack,
the speed buff. If you've ever wondered why the speed buff is so important in the competitive level, that is why. You can just see how much movement speed it gives you early on. That it's just like you can chase everyone down.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, we're approaching the 10-minute mark now in game number 1 broadcast today. It's the upcoming Stars wearing the blue trunks versus the EloFishers at 7-2 in favor of the upcoming Stars. If you're watching us on Twitch TV, if you're watching through the client or on 15 TV, welcome to all of you, and we're happy to have you here as Chalk's in a lot of trouble on the right side solo lane, and that's an easy pickup, really helping that Hell out. And that's something to mention, right? No deaths onto Hell with a Bastet on the side of EloFisher should be a relatively easy kill for them to find. But just nothing cooking.
Well, Bastet hasn't even looked over in the solo lane at all. I mean, Europe, we very well know that Europe is all about, like, solo lane is solo island. Those two are just going to duke it out. That's kind of
well, okay, so you say that's what Europe's known for.
Yeah.
In your estimation, what makes the North American solo lane different than that?
I think it's really just the pressure of the junglers, right? So when you look at it, so in North America, you have Garce, who is all about getting Divios fed. Andenster is kind of the opposite. Andenster's all about just getting stealth fed because he knows that Omega's just going to kind of get big eventually, right? Mm-hmm. But then the same thing goes with, like, complexity. It's like Cyclone Spin, yeah, he's going to be fine by himself, but if Weaken helps them out, he's going to snowball that lane. That's really it. I think everyone in Europe is kind of just confident in their solo lane, kind of doing their own thing.
So it's basically a factor of that the European squads, as of right now, maybe with the exception of Trig and Zalia,
yeah.
One, they don't have a super aggro players, and two, they aren't selecting carry style of gods, so they don't need that early pressure.
It's the carry style of gods as well as it is the potential of that solo laner as well, right? Like anyone could make it an easy case that Divios is the best player on, like, Cog Red or the name changes, whatever their team name is now. You can make the same thing on SK, but you also have Rubes, right? Like, it's easier to kind of justify that Divios can carry a game easier than Snoopy. I think it's just kind of, you look at it as, like, your tier 1 carry.
Sure. So North America tends to rely on that solo laner in that first position to bring most of the farm priority and then the damage in the later stages of the game.
Sure.
Bit of counter warding here in the mid lane. We did have that kill on the Chalk just a bit ago, and now Hell, you can see her positioned up pretty far in this lane with that 2-level advantage over the Chalk.
2-level advantage as well as CDR boots and breastplate.
Max CDR versus Stone of Gaia, and
she's doing fine.
And look at that. Did Chalk by reinforce Greaves there? My goodness. What a madman.
Well, the Spirit Ball is going to hit. You see the circle of protection down. Athena's coming down as well. She's just going to sit here, heal everyone up. Kraken's going to do a bunch. Takes out one, looking for a second one. Rom takes to the sky. He's able to snipe it. God, those shots are hard on line too, by the way. On land, we see it happen all the time.
It's a big pickup. I mean, it turns into a 1-for-1. No, now a 2-for-1. Now a 2-for-2. As the fight continues to rage on, but advantage to upcoming Stars. They have positioning at the Gold Fury. Only Chalk here to contest. Cupid and he being zoned out by the Arachne of all targets. However unconventional that is. Iqbal actually showing what it can do there as she takes away the power from the Chalk, boxes them out, and there is a second Gold Fury of the game going the way of upcoming Stars. This yields them an 8,800 experience difference, 7,200 in terms of gold. That's a big advantage off of 2 fights now in the mid game. Upcoming Stars looking to upset the number 6 soft-seeded EloFishers.
Yeah, well, also, look at the jungle, right? I mean, you can kind of tell all by the Gold Fury. Red's down, purple's down, Bat Harpy's just spawned up. Upcoming Stars is doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You get a kill, you take everything you can. You take a tower, you take their jungle as well. Now, obviously, the big focus is going to be speed buff as well as blue buff, but they haven't even looked at solo lane. I mean, Hell's doing a fine job by herself, and now she has a Lotus Crown. Good luck killing her. This is the part, this is why you have to prioritize killing Hell in the solo lane or in the mid lane if she ever decides to go there. We've seen Jerby do it like once or twice, but you don't want her to have the Lotus Crown and the breastplate because now she's just a nightmare. If you don't kill her right away in a team fight, she's just going to sit there and heal up her team the entire time.
Yeah, and that Lotus Crown, in addition to that, is going to be adding protections with every one of those heals. Big AoE protection buff out of that.
20 for 5 seconds.
20 for 5 seconds, that's right.
That's technical.
Which is big. I mean, that's a big, boys.
Yeah, I mean, especially with an Arachne.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Arachne, yeah, you're in trouble. Whoosh.
Synergizes well with that Ick-File as well, right? Reducing power, giving more protections, just makes Arachne better and better at boxing. Even though it's not the normal kind of place you would see this god, still able to kind of make that happen for themselves. And look how ballsy Hells is playing right now. Moving straight forward. There's the Athena ultimate coming out on top, and they're going to 4-man the side lane. Chalk using the ultimate. There's an Isis ultimate dropped as well. That circle of protection going to be helping them out quite a bit. They got Valley back to it. Sylvanas ultimate coming out, getting the knockup, but Dira just does go down. The Poseidon ultimate comes through as well. The fight rages on. EloFisher starting to get really, really low.
Got it.
Down goes Darzer. Under tower, still fighting is the Arachne. Hell, just a powerhouse battery here, keeping the team healed up. Now it's Chalk. They set their sights to. Down goes Chalk. And it's a 3-for-1 trade on the right side here. Cherio, he takes up the tower for that to happen on the Athena. Nicely played by him. Sets up most of those kills, and now it's a tier 2 pressure with the Hell, the battery for the team just surging forward.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just saying. You don't want to have Hell get in this place because she's going to heal up her team very, very effectively. Hell's going to be able to get this kill just effortlessly. I press 4, I press 3, AoE, bunch of damage, rest in peace. That is why you have to prioritize killing Hell right now. If you are EloFishers, it's like, yes, you're going to have an Arachne dealing with you. Rom's all the way in the other lane. You got to kill Hell, and then you have to worry about Isis. Isis is going to be a little bit slippery, and obviously you want to kill her, but Hell has just too much sustain. You got to take her out in these team fights.
15-minute 4-man rotation for a tier 2 on the right side. Successful for the upcoming Stars. This is going to push them up over that 10,000 mark in terms of gold, 10,500 gold to their credit. 14,000 experience separating these teams. Upcoming Stars.
That's a lot.
They may not even be upcoming at this point. You could say that they're here as EloFishers in a squad that a lot of people have their eyes on. Perennial favorites for kind of that second squad in EU.
For sure.
Get Fisher, Darzer, Durgis, Vastrikal, all names that we've seen around the bend. But now the upcoming Stars showing us that the depth in Europe is really not a joke.
Yeah, no, not at all. So I was curious as to what Arachne was going to go with next. Obviously, you have the Jotuns, and a lot of people are saying that single-target assassins should be getting Titan's Bane next, just for the shredding of the protections and just doing the actual damage. But he went for the defensive. Now, Bastet is probably going to have to do something similar, but at the same time, Bastet being 2-5, this could be really, really
full
difficult.
item behind.
Yeah.
Bastet's 2,500
Well,
gold.
everyone almost is a full item behind, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
The jungler really, it hurts the most, though, maybe.
That's why everyone prioritizes banning out junglers, because they can change the game so much.
Yeah.
I really think that's what it is.
But to be fair, this game, not a lot of junglers banned, if any at all. Chivalaki with the fight raging. And they're fighting in that Isis circle of protection. Definitely not where you want to be. That's a big Cupid mesmerized, but Chalk is there in the front lines, and he's stopping everything. And look how hard Arachne is hitting. Down is going to go Sylvanas as well. The Infinite Web is going to be selected by Arachne. She's going to try to chase up Poseidon, but Heavenly Agility is there. It's going to take another taunt. Beads being used, taking this guy's round. 1, 2, 3 shots are on the target. Down goes Darzer. Wow, Arachne gets credit for that kill, but all of the damage going to the credit of hi-rez on the Rama for upcoming Stars, and now they look to pressure the mid-Phoenix. Do the Stars wearing those blue trunks. Vastrikal a lot of trouble as well. The dot ripping through from Arachne. Mid-Phoenix to fall here as well. Down it does go. Granted, Vastrikal gets kill credit onto the Athena, tanking up that mid lane, but now we're talking about 17,000 experience, 13,000 gold. Gold Fury going to be coming back up and going to the upcoming Stars here in just a moment. They have full control of the map, and they have an 8-0-9 Arachne fighting with the 5-1-11 Isis. Those two have been the powerhouse of this squad so far. But let's not forget about hi-rez on that Rama. 2 excellent ultimates this game to set up kills.
Yeah, Arachne also has 1,400 gold in hand, which she probably is going to go with the Magi's. I don't see her going with the Height of the Urchin. It's a little bit too late for that. But,
yeah, it should be Magi's here.
Oh, no, the Spirit Robe. That's right. It got a buff, Bart. we forgot all about this. Spirit Robe is now going to be
protections.
changed. We have 40 protections, both physical and magical, and it gives you 15% CDR. So working with the Jotuns as well, that's going to really help her out.
And it also brings a flat damage reduction if you are CC'd, but the one thing this item does not yield is any flat HP. Which could be a little bit of an issue here for the upcoming Stars. We'll see if that Arachne just melts in these fights, but she hasn't had much problem now, and especially considering that now when she's healed by Hell, she's going to have 60 magical and physical protection stacking up with that Spirit Robe and the Lotus Crown. So look out for this Arachne to be a real tanky frontliner style here.
Yeah, Arachne should just be trying to dive in, and that's really what she does.
Look
best,
how out of position
right?
the EloFishers are.
Yeah, they're not even looking at this.
And Fire Giant only gets to his second, I guess I don't know the name of that ability, but second lava carpet there.
I don't think we've gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
In
I guess it's still the Wild West. We're calling the line one lava carpet, and we're calling the circles the ouchie pools.
I like that.
Algae pools?
Algae pools. I know DM calls it like the mud, but the mud just seems like that Matthew McConaughey movie.
Yeah.
I'm not with that.
Mud.
Yeah. Dude, by the way, taking a look at the player healing, Hell has done 8,900 in 19 minutes.
Sylvanas ultimate does get a catch 3. Here comes a Bastet, but there's a Cupid ultimate fields of love there as well. The dot makes track load up. Here comes a side ultimate doing a lot of damage to the upcoming Stars. It's a great fight for EloFishers, but it's still just being held by the blue team. The Hell heals are just so big.
Dude, they got to take her out.
That was the dream.
Yeah, they got the ROM. They had the Poseidon all into a whirlpool. They had all the damage possible. But with that Fire Giant buff and Hell, we're just going to see him go in and get it. Oh, my God. Sylvanas just got crushed. There's a double for Arachne looking for a second there. But that's just going to be a Phoenix. They might be able to end.
So, that fight. They got the Cupid ultimate. Perfect. They got the big Kraken coming through as well. I believe they hit 3 targets with both of them. And Hell just laughed. Hell just said, well, I'm going to heal everybody now for all of that damage, and there's no anti-heal coming out for EloFishers. Where's the Divine Ruin?
That's the problem.
Where is the Divine Ruin, boys?
Yeah, you need a Divine Ruin or even a Brawler's Beat Stick. That could have been what Bastet went into. I could see a Jotuns going into a Brawler's Beat Stick just to prioritize. I think they looked at it as, okay, well, you can see Poseidon has the tiny trinket. He's starting to work down there, but by the time that is done, this game's probably going to be over. He needed to get that out very, very early.
The Transcendence, you mean?
No, Poseidon.
Oh, Poseidon.
He's got the tiny trinket, sorry.
Yeah, the tiny trinket. Yeah, he could go into it now. I'm also concerned as the Weakening Curse does come out from Gale Force now on the chalk, but Transcendence being picked up now by Bastet, that seems so late.
Very, very late. I mean, it's going to be very hard for her to get stacks, but at least, I guess on the flip side, all of their lanes are shoved all the way up.
True.
So she might be able to get it, but I don't even know who EloFishers looks to try to even help get back into this one. I mean, you can see Cupid. Cupid's probably doing the best on the team, so you'll probably give him the farm so he can get Executioner online, but even still, then everyone else is still going to just be so far behind. I mean, Chalk just has 2 items. He has Reinforced Greaves and a Stone of Gaia.
Well, the biggest issue I have with Transcendence here is, one, that starting to build into it, the team is just so starved out as EloFishers by the upcoming Stars with their just absolute map control. Transcendence took a long time to come out, and Bastet really needs an item that lets her fight right now. Titan's Bane maybe would have been the better choice here.
Titan's Bane.
As Transcendence, while it does add a lot of power once you are, kind of 5-slotted as it converts your mana, which you get per leveling to power, only level 14 not getting that much out of this Transcendence at this point, and while Bastet, it needs a lot of time to stack up.
Well, the gold difference, dude, is 17,000. Like, just to be fair, right? Like, they have a very, very big uphill battle as Athena's going to go in. She hits the taunt part, and it looks like they're going.
In the mid lane, Phoenix, the fight is breaking out. Chalk Silence hits 2, but the front line has been unchecked as they rip through that Phoenix, no problem. Now it's Chalk taking a lot of damage. The Rom arrows doing a lot of work with that chain slow. And the end, it's the Isis that picks up the kill onto Chalk now. As in the front line is Hell. Sylvanas ultimate going to be used on just the one there. She can heal that one back, no problem. The team trying to fight Isis Ball on the mark. Down goes Darzer. Cupid ultimate feels a love coming up, but only going to hit 1. The fields are gone, and now the rest of EloFishers are falling. Only 2 members of the red team surviving. Athena's going to be taken to the skies and dropping back down onto the Arachne. Titan starting to fall, and down it goes. Upcoming Stars knocking the EloFishers out in the round of 16. My goodness gracious, Europe.
That's really, really big as well. I mean, we soft-seeded these teams based on the fact that, they probably will be in the top 8.
Well, based on names, past performance.
Yeah, exactly. And to see EloFishers secure top 8 finish now, that's really, really big going into week 2.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the bigger
upcoming
story.
Stars going to be drastically improving their seed position.
Yeah, that's going to really help them out, and that also puts EloFishers into the top 16, which means the bracket for Europe, we could see very, very interesting matchups in the round of 16.
I expect that we will. But that does do it for our first matchup of the day, guys. Coming up next is going to be a matchup out of the round of 8. But Scott has something to say. He's using his question.
13,000 player healing for hell.
Well, so what's interesting, right, is how much does that offset? Granted, I would expect that, yeah, look, you see that nobody on the side of the EloFishers broke 10,000 player damage, with the exception of the Cupid at 11,000. Still, all of them individually less than what the hell healed, meaning she negated basically an entire damage dealer plus 10% from the side of EloFishers.
I'm pretty sure that fight where the Poseidon and the Cupid ultimate went down, that's where like hell kind of made up.
I would have F6'd.
Yeah, that's an F6.
That's
like,
F6.
Okay, well, we got the dream and nothing followed up.
Happened. But that does it for Game 1, Scott. Out of the round of 16, moving on to the round of 8, it's going to be London Conspiracy going up against, wait, who are they fighting?
Spicy
Not completely
Waffles.
The Spicy Waffles.
The best team name.
Formerly known as Team Beer.
It took them like 3 hours to
this was a big undertaking for them, but it is a Spicy Waffles, also known as Yemen and Half Devil Squad, going up against the one and only London Conspiracy, captained by Suntouch, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that one in just a few minutes. We'll see you then.